Have you ever felt like God asked something of you that didn't make sense? Something that felt unfair, something that felt too costly, something that made you wonder if obedience was really worth it. This is the story of a promise, and the moment that promise was placed on the altar. Stay with us until the end, because this is not just a story about faith. It is a story about silence, about waiting, and about a God who provides, not early, but at the last possible moment. Abraham was an old man when God first spoke to him. He had left his homeland. He had walked away from everything familiar. He had followed a voice he could not see, trusting a promise he could not yet touch. God had promised him descendants as numerous as the stars. But year after year passed, and Abraham grew old. His wife Sarah grew old, and the promise seemed to fade with time. Decades of waiting, decades of unanswered prayers, decades of believing when there was no evidence. And then, when all hope seemed gone, the impossible happened. A child was born, Isaac. The laughter of Abraham's old age, the joy of Sarah's long sorrow turned to wonder. The living proof that God keeps his word. Isaac was not just a son, he was the future. He was the promise made flesh. Abraham loved him. Years passed. Isaac grew strong. He learned to walk, to speak, to laugh. The promise no longer felt fragile. It felt secure. And then God spoke again. Abraham. Abraham answered without hesitation, as he always had. Here I am.
Abraham, listen to my voice.
Take your son, God said, your only son, whom you love. Go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering. The words fell heavy in the silence. God did not explain. He did not soften the command. He did not promise a happy ending. Only this: go. That night, Abraham did not argue. He did not plead. He did not wake Sarah to tell her what God had asked. He rose early the next morning. He split the wood himself. He saddled the donkey. He called Isaac to his side, and together they began the journey. 3 days, 3 days of walking, 3 days of silence, 3 days of carrying a command no father should ever bear. Every step echoed with unspoken thoughts. Every mile pressed heavier on Abraham's heart. Was this really God? Had he misunderstood? Would the promise truly end here? But Abraham kept walking. On the 3rd day, Abraham lifted his eyes and saw the mountain in the distance. This is the place, he said. He turned to the servants. Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there. We will worship, and we will come back to you. Even then, his words carried faith he could not yet explain. Abraham placed the wood on Isaac's shoulders. He took the fire and the knife in his own hands, and together, father and son climbed the mountain. The son of promise broke the silence. Father. Yes, my son. We have the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the offering? Abraham stopped for a moment. Then he answered, God will provide for himself the lamb. And they walked on. At the top of the mountain, Abraham built the altar, stone by stone, slowly, deliberately, each movement measured, each breath heavy. He arranged the wood. Then he turned to Isaac, and Isaac did not run. The son of promise did not resist. He allowed himself to be bound. He trusted his father. Abraham placed him on the altar. The knife was raised. Heaven was silent. No thunder, no voice, no sign. Then a voice broke the silence. "Abraham, Abraham!" He froze. "Here I am." Do not lay a hand on the boy. Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. Abraham lowered the knife. His breath returned. He looked up, and there, caught in a thicket by its horns, was a ram. God had provided, not before the climb, not during the journey, but at the last possible moment. Abraham offered the ram in place of his son, and he named that place, "The Lord Will Provide." Because faith is not proven when the answer comes early. It is proven when obedience continues, through silence. This story is not just about Abraham. Perhaps you are walking towards a mountain you never asked for. Perhaps God has asked something of you that feels too costly. Perhaps the promise you once held feels like it is slipping away. The story of Abraham and Isaac reminds us of this. God sees the knife. God sees the altar. God sees the faith that keeps walking even when the outcome is unclear. And God provides, not always when we want, but always when it matters most. Your story is not over.